Just get up.
It's 29 minutes after 7 today, Thursday, November the 5th. And one of the, I think, institutions in the Caribbean at the forefront of getting things moving has always been the UWI, whether here in Jamaica, in Trinidad and Tobago. And we certainly hope that the trend continues, especially as we move further and further towards unification of the islands in the Caribbean. I'm speaking specifically of the CSME and the Caribbean community. We have Professor Winston Anderson here with us this morning, and he is the Executive Director of the Caribbean Law Institute Center of the UWI, and with him is Betty Goodman, the Secretary there at the Caribbean Law Institute Center. And welcome to Morning Barbados.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Now, we're hearing that there's going to be an inaugural symposium, very important symposium being brought. But I'd like to find out first about the Institute. I'd like to find out about the Caribbean Law Institute Center. What is it about? Yes. Its mandate, its raison d'etre.
Yes, thank you so much. Good morning to you again, and good morning to Barbados. The Caribbean Law Institute Center is a part of the University of the West Indies. And we are based in the law faculty at Cave Hill. And the center was established in 1994. With the primary purpose of seeking to do research, legal research, that would be of benefit to member states and to the community as a whole.
And this research encompasses what? Statistical data on?
We are primarily concerned with research that would support the continuance of the vibrancy of the Caribbean community. Mm-hmm. We have, of course, as you know, a revised treaty which sets up the Caribbean community. And we also have certain institutions, such as the Caribbean Court of Justice, which are designed to promote the Caribbean community. But we do need, of course, researchers. We need academics who look at the rules, who make suggestions to our policymakers, and who hopefully will help to improve the community and the CSME. And that is what we see the role of the center as providing that kind of research support that will guarantee a sound and viable community.
And then this research will be tested at this symposium.
Indeed.
Because I noticed that you are going to be covering issues like the free movement of goods, capital, skilled labor, service providers. That is a ticklish one. That's one I think that's at the forefront of every country's mind as we look at immigration and the size of islands and the immigrants who are coming into it. Yes. Can we sustain them?
Yes,
so that's always at the forefront. Also the freedom to start businesses within the community.
Yes.
I notice here foreign currency trading.
Yes.
And also the compliance by CARICOM with administrative law principles. So it's a lot we have to cover in a short space of time. The free movement of goods, capital, skilled labor and service providers. How current, what's the current situation with that right now?
I think the first thing to understand is that this is not a matter of discretion, which any of our governments have at this point. All of our governments have signed on to the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. And having signed on to the treaty, they have actually incorporated the treaty into domestic law. And this means that there are obligations which have fallen to our governments in respect of these matters. Obligations, for example, relating to the free movement of Caribbean nationals. Now, at last count, there were 10 categories of persons who are entitled to move freely within the region to seek employment. These are wage earners. There's sportsmen, nurses, teachers, media professionals, of course, and so many others, artisans, encompassing persons like carpenters, masons, and these kinds of persons, provided they have the requisite qualifications.
They go through an accreditation
Yes, there is a process which must be gone through.
Now, this accreditation process, how is that being received? Because that would, I think, depend on the island or the country itself, the one where the people are moving to.
Well, they're harmonized standards. They're standards that
they're harmonized.
Yes, they're standards that all our policymakers have agreed to.
Excellent.
And what has happened is that there are institutions established within our various member states, more advanced in some countries than others, advanced, I think, in Barbados, in Jamaica, I think Trinidad as well, Guyana, where you can get your Caribbean vocational qualification, which certifies you as being a certified qualified mason or a plumber or an electrician. And once you have that, and once, of course, you have your CARICOM passport indicating that you're a member of the Caribbean community, then you have a right to go to Grenada or to Antigua or wherever else to seek employment. But that is just one category, as you hinted at.
Exactly.
There's so many others.
This is it.
The right to move, to start businesses, etc., to provide services.
Right, because you're going to be dealing with people within that country who might think to themselves, well, they're going to be taking away some of my business.
Yes.
So all those are things that have to be dealt with.
And remember, of course, it's not a one-way street.
No, it's not.
So that persons in Barbados, for example, who might entertain those kinds of thoughts, remember as well that Barbadians have the right, equally, to move to any of the other 11, 12 participating member states.
Okay, foreign currency trading.
Yes.
Whose foreign currency?
Well, as you know, the
European
foreign
Union,
currency,
the pound, the
all foreign
American.
currencies, all foreign currencies. As you know, there is, first of all, a movement in the region towards trying to think about how we can converge the value of our currencies. There are people who are speaking in terms of having a common currency. That is far down the road. We're not there yet. But there is, of course, separate and apart from that, a foreign currency trading opportunity for members in the community. And this is a market which I'm told has a value of $3 trillion US per day.
Per day?
Per day.
Okay.
Now, if you're very bright and very smart and very skilled, you can perhaps potentially make $3 trillion. But the point is that the idea is that there's an opportunity for persons to learn about this venture and to become experts in it, and also to know, of course, what the rules are, because you must, of course, obey certain legal rules which apply within the country from which you are doing the foreign currency trading.
I have a feeling that we're going to have a part 2 of this discussion because there's so many things I would like to ask.
Yes.
Because moving down, I notice here CCJ litigation by the private sector.
Yes.
You're talking about the private sector with the Court of Justice, but when you're looking at the law itself, the legal fraternity, isn't the Privy Council trying to get rid of us now? That's something I read, that they're saying, well, you have your court, use it.
Yes, absolutely. And this is, I think, a very, very important moment in Caribbean history, because for so long we have been attuned to going to the Privy Council for final resolution of our disputes. And as you said, the Privy Council, in the form of Lord Phillips, very recently said, basically, our judges are spending too much time on Caribbean litigation. And what they have done, therefore, is to say, in effect, it is time that you consider moving away from your own, from us to your own CCJ in Trinidad. It's very important, of course, to note that Barbados has already done this. Barbados has left the Privy Council and gone to the CCJ, and Guyana has as well. But all our other member states are still going to the Privy Council. And that's one of the things that the Institute, the Caribbean Law Center, is trying to advocate, the migration from the Privy Council and the acceptance of the Caribbean Court of Justice in the appellate jurisdiction.
Now, Betty, this symposium is from November 9th to the 11th, which is like 3 days, 3 days. It's a lot to cover, and I'm sure that there are many people who would be interested in registering for the symposium. So perhaps you could tell us the how. If people are watching and are interested right now in getting on board with this, how can they do this?
Good morning, Barbados. Our registration forms are available on our website, www.caricomlawsymposium.com. You can download it, you can fill it out, and fax it to me at 424-4138. The cost of registration is $500 US.
Okay, and this
That's
is
the currency, by the way.
Yes, definitely. So this is for anyone interested. It doesn't matter if you're in the legal profession, whatever profession, as long as you have an interest.
Yes, please.
Okay, fine. So the dates are from November 9 to 11, and it takes place in Trinidad? In Trinidad.
And I should say we have a very, very important lineup of speakers. We have the Prime Minister of Barbados, who is going to be addressing us on the very first day. Honorable David Thompson, Prime Minister, is, of course, the CARICOM head with lead responsibility for the CSME. And therefore, the Prime Minister is going to give his perspective on how he sees the experiment of the CSME evolving. We have the President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Honorable De La Bastide, who's going to be speaking, and all the justices at the CCJ will be presenting. We have professors at the university who are going to be speaking, Professor Antoine, Professor Carnegie, Dr. Berry, and others. We have central bank governors, we have people in private practice, we have economists. We have a very exciting mix of presenters.
Okay, so if I want to, does this registration include only the symposium? Do you guide people towards accommodation, that sort of thing?
Well, accommodation is available at the Hyatt Regency, and it's $170 US per night.
Okay,
The registration fee includes lunch and breakfast.
right. So lots of things to be covered in a short space of time. And I am sure that one of the things that will be coming up is the final one I see here, the global financial crisis and regional opportunities, because that is perhaps going to take precedence, because it's going to impact on all of the other things I think that you will be discussing there.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to ask our producer that we get an opportunity to do this in more detail, because we've heard very little recently, about CSME, about the CARICOM community, and where we're going, where are we headed, and where do we want to be?
Absolutely.
And I would love to hear what your data has uncovered.
Wonderful.
So thank you very, very much,
Wonderful.
Professor Anderson, and welcome to Betty once again, and good luck to you both.
Thank you so much.
It is moving up to 20 minutes to 8 right here in Barbados. And